Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we have a real treat for you. We are not only going to use some sourdough discard, because we all know that sourdough discard can be a problem in your sourdough baking lives. Like, what do you do with it? Well, today we are gonna make an orange cardamom muffin, and I have a treat for you. My mom is visiting from California, and this is actually a recipe request from her, because as she was scrolling through her Facebook feeds this week, she actually came across this recipe, and the cardamom in it reminded her of the Fatiman cookie that her grandmother used to make. And so I was like, Mom, let's do this. Let's do this adventure together since you're here and we like to bake. So I thought that this might be a great recipe for us sourdough lovers who have discard a time or two that we just don't know what to do with. Let's make muffins. Let's get started. What you're gonna need is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half of a cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of orange zest, 1 to 2 teaspoons of cardamom, half a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of room temperature butter, half a cup of sourdough starter, 1 ripe banana, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a cup of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of orange juice, 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon of orange juice, and half of a cup of powdered sugar. All right, you guys, some of you may remember my mom from about 2 years ago. We did a fantastic meatloaf video. Everybody loves meatloaf, right? We did my mom's recipe back then, and today we're gonna do this by request of my mom. So we're just gonna get started. We're gonna jump right in here. So Mom, and I'm gonna tell you what she's doing and ask her questions at the same time. So she's gonna go ahead and add the butter, the banana, and the sourdough discard into the bowl just to get them going. But so tell me a little bit about the Fatima cookies. I know this is not Fatima. Fatima. Sorry, did I say Fatima?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about those cookies. Like, you and Grandma used to do them together during the holidays?
Yes, Norwegians make Fatima cookies during the holidays, and I think most of the Norwegian recipes came because they were very, very poor, because there's not really a whole lot in Fatima besides some flour and some sugar. And then they are fried in lard.
In lard. Like
in lard.
Lard, not butter.
Not butter, oil.
Lard.
Lard, if you really want them. And I would help Grandma do them. They were little diamonds, and you cut the middle and you pulled them through. I did the pulling through, and then of course she didn't let me do the frying because I was too young.
And so these muffins reminded you of those cookies because of that warm cardamom spice, right?
Yes, I like the taste of cardamom. It's very good. I like pfeffernuss. Yeah, I like those cookies too. So yeah. When I was looking at Facebook, because you know we all do it, I saw cardamom orange muffins with sourdough discard.
And she was asking me, like, what's the difference between sourdough starter and sourdough discard? And I said, well, one is not fed and one is fed. And so she was like, well, what if we make these muffins? And I said, oh, sure, yes, let's make these muffins. And I'm like, do you want to make them with me here on the channel? And she's like, okay. So here we are. This recipe actually comes to us from Cultured Guru, which is cultured.guru, and he has a blog, and it's all about sourdough and scobies and a whole bunch of cultured things. So should be a good recipe. Go ahead and go give him some love if this turns out good. At least we will. Oh, that looks fantastic. All right, so your batter should look kind of like a really loose sourdough. And now we're gonna add in the eggs, and we'll just give that a good mix, but not we don't wanna over mix it, because we don't want that sourdough to become really, really stretchy and gross. So we're just gonna barely mix this together. Orange juice and milk going in, along with our vanilla paste, which you'll have to scrape. This is our homemade vanilla paste that we made a couple weeks ago. So we have to scrape it out because it's nice and thick now. And it's gonna make these just that much better. I just know it. And then our orange zest. So that's all of the things that go in the wet bowl. So while she's bringing that together, I'm gonna go ahead and put together our dry bowl with our flour, our sugar, our cornstarch, our salt, and our baking soda. And then we get to decide 1 or 2 of the cardamom. Now, Cultured Guru actually said 1 or 2. So since neither of us have ever had these before, we're gonna start with 1. We're gonna mix it softly, carefully. Actually, we're gonna switch too. We're gonna start folding instead. So let me show you what this batter looks like as we start to fold in the dry stuff. So your batter will be loose and almost look a little curdled. Don't worry, that's totally normal. And then I will put the 1 teaspoon of cardamom in this batter to start with. And then while my mom mixes and folds, we will decide what we think. Maybe we'll do 2. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had a distinguishable baked good with cardamom in it. So, I mean, I'm sure I've had the cookies that great grandma made, but I don't know if I have. I can't recall. So we're just going to add a little bit of a time and fold it together. And we don't want to overmix this because we don't want our muffins to be stodgy and tough. I don't smell the cardamom. I smell an overwhelmingly orange flavor right now, but I don't smell a lot of cardamom. So I almost feel like maybe for the sake of cardamom, we'll put in the 2nd teaspoon.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Can you smell it? Oops. Yep, you can smell it. Or, yep.
Yep, I can smell it. Yep, you should put it in. Yep, you should put it in. I like cardamom.
It's too late now. Oh. All right, and while she's continuing to fold that, I'm gonna go ahead and get our muffin tins. The recipe said you definitely need to line your muffin tins or use a lot of oil because I guess they're gonna be very, very sticky when they come out. Okay, I feel like it's a little thick by no error of ours, but that's just the nature of the batter. Since we've never made these before, that's just gonna be what it is. Now we are going to use our little scooper here, and that way we can do exactly the same amount in all of our little containers. So I just looked at the recipe and it said we were supposed to bake these for 35 minutes. I feel like 35 minutes is overkill. So I think I will look at them about the minute 20 mark and then go from there because I don't know that I've ever baked a cupcake or a muffin for 35 minutes. Do you feel like that's a long time to bake a muffin for?
I don't bake very often, so I can't really tell you.
Well, I mean, I'll set 2 timers. One of them will be the 35-minute timer, but one I'm going to definitely check it at 20 minutes. And then if they're done, we'll come back and tell you about how long it took. But this recipe made with generous large scoop, it made 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-ish. So yeah. Okay, so into the oven these are gonna go and we'll see you back here when they're ready to taste. All right, welcome back and check out these muffins. Now it did only take about 20 minutes and I almost feel like it could have probably came out at about 15 because the ones that got a little darker kind of look like they're too dark. They almost have the texture up here of bread. Like feel that. It doesn't feel like a muffin. It feels more like bread. Whereas the ones that are a little larger still look a lot like a muffin, less like bread. I don't know. But that's beside the point. They only took 20 minutes. Do not leave yours in for 30 to 35 minutes. The cultured guru person did leave theirs for 35. We did check. Her muffins were darker in color, but my mom and I almost feel like any darker and they would be really, really dry. So use your best judgment. We inserted a toothpick. They came out. It was beautiful. So only 20 minutes. So now we're gonna go ahead and make the glaze. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine the orange juice with all of our powdered sugar and just give that a good whisk. And if we feel like the glaze needs to be a little thicker, I can get some more powdered sugar. But
what do you think?
Let's grab a spoon or something that we can dip it in there. Because I think according to the picture that we saw, it looked more like icing over the top, and I don't think that that's going to turn into icing. So we'll just add a tablespoon at a time and get it to be pourable so I can still pour it, but yet not so much that it droops off in like a puddle. Does that make sense?
I don't like it. I want to have it on my muffin, not on the...
Right. We want it to stay where we put it.
A little bit more.
We don't want it to, you know, like run off. Oh my goodness, Mom. Hold on. It's not the recipe's fault. I put 2 tablespoons of orange juice in there instead of 1. So, yeah, if you read the directions correctly, yours will probably turn out fine. So that is now correct. This is now the correct ratio. As soon as she said, no, I measured it. And then I was like, wait, I remember measuring 2. Let's just check those measurements. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is much
That's
better.
much better. That's perfect. Okay, so I almost feel like I even want a little bit more, but just a little bit. Otherwise, that was perfect measurements. Don't listen to me. I know nothing. So now we have a lot of icing. That's fine.
Which
though.
I like.
Yeah, that's fine. So
Now you gotta
let's
show me how you ice them.
Well, we're gonna pretend we know what we're doing here. So
Oh, we are?
yes. We don't actually know what we're doing. We can either put it into a piping bag or just drizzle it over the top with, whatever works. So we're just gonna drizzle.
So this is Mama doing it.
Yeah, drizzle in like strips or a little, you know, like who knows. There you go. And maybe we'll just do a couple to start with so we can try them because we really want to try them. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna take our beautiful muffins. We're gonna pour into them and eat them. So first thing I notice is they are really stuck to the papers. So definitely oil or paper your containers. But if you're careful enough, you can get them off. And then I will break one for the camera. Let's break one open. Here we go. All right, let's break this open and see what's inside.
Oh, yum.
Wow. That looks pretty good in there. She's already eating over here off camera. That's why she's saying, oh, wow. Wow. Okay, I love the inside. They're kind of spongy. That's cool. All right, here we go.
I say, oh, wow.
Ooh, that's different. It is spongy.
I love spongy muffins. And they're not super sweet either.
No, they're not sweet at all. If you like more of a, I don't even want to say it's savory. It's just, I don't know how can you describe this texture? It's a beautiful texture. It is not overworked or anything, but it is spongy. It is not a regular muffin texture. More like sourdough. It's like sourdough. Yeah, I think it really is like a sourdough texture. You know, where you have that kind of stretchy, kind of firm, but yet soft.
I'm going to have to
And
start
the
making
icing.
sourdough.
Yeah. Well, you know. Those are really good. And they're not, I'm really glad that we put the 2nd teaspoon of cardamom in.
Yeah.
Because you can't really taste, the cardamom is not overwhelming. The orange is not overwhelming. But together they create this little happy party in your mouth. And I looked up exactly what cardamom is supposed to taste like. And somebody said it tastes a little bit like pine or eucalyptus. And I'm not getting that. I mean, like, there is a warm flavor and it does remind me a little bit like Christmas, but it's not overwhelming. Like, if someone brought these muffins to an event, I would not say, oh, these are Christmas muffins. They just taste like a really good orange muffin with something in it that makes you go, things that make you go, And that icing's really fun.
It's
Oh, wow.
like, even though it's powdered sugar on orange juice, it's not super sweet.
No, because the sourness of the orange juice and the,
Yeah.
you could even put a little, I mean, I don't know, maybe put a little cardamom in the icing to bring more cardamom flavor. I don't know, maybe that's going to be too much, but wow. So what do you think? Like, is this a recipe that you would definitely like make again? Is it something that was easy enough for the non-baker in you to accomplish? Like,
Yeah.
It was super easy. You just put a few things together and don't overmix. She said, I don't know if that is going to end up in the edit, she was real nervous about over mixing because I'm like, oh, be sure not to over mix. And she was like, oh no, that made me really nervous. But there really wasn't, once the dry bits are gone, you're done. And they turned out fantastic. So you'll probably, if you do sourdough, which of course everybody's gonna do sourdough, right?
Yeah.
You'll definitely make these again because they're that good, right?
Oh, I will make these a bunch of times.
Yes, they're really good. I love I
good.
love the flavor on my tongue right now. It's a different flavor because I don't think I've had much cardamom. Yes, I've eaten a lot of Indian food, but not in sweet treats. And these aren't super sweet, so they're really good. All right, you guys, well, that's it for us. Did you enjoy that video? If you did, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. And sometimes your mom says, hey, have you ever made these before? Let's make them. And I say, let's do it. So if you have any ideas for me, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, we're gonna get these iced, get our thumbnail taken, and probably finish them off tonight. I mean, no judgment, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll see you on the next one, you guys. Bye.